Hi guys, welcome to Vijay Knowledge Tree.
Loop is a programming construct that repeats a block of code until certain condition is met. For example, include for loops and while loops. What is the purpose of this statement in Python? What is the purpose of the break statement in Python? The break statement is used to exit a loop prematurely. It is typically used to terminate a loop when a certain condition is met. That is the break. And the next is what is the purpose of the continue statement in Python? The continue statement is used to skip the rest of the code inside a loop for the current iteration and continue to the next iteration. What is recursion in Python? Recursion is a programming technique in which a function calls itself in order to solve a problem. It is often used to solve problems that can be broken down into smaller or similar sub problems. What is the purpose of try, except, and finally blocks in Python? The try block is used to enclose code that may raise an exception. The except block is used to catch and handle specific exceptions that occur within the try block. The finally block is used to execute code that must be run regardless of whether an exception occurs or not. What is the purpose of try exception? Like the okay, next take the what is exception handling in Python? Exception handling is the purpose of catching and handling exceptions that occur during the execution of a program. It allows for graceful recovery from errors and prevents the program from crashing. What is object oriented programming? Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concepts of objects which can contain data in the form of attributes and code in the form of methods. Explain encapsulation in Python. Encapsulation is the bundle of data or attributes and methods means are functions that operate on the data into a single unit called a class. It allows for data hiding and abstraction. What is difference between list and tuple? List mutable can be changed after creation, defined with a square brackets. Tuple. Tuple is immutable. The object cannot be changed after creation, defined with parentheses. Explain list comparisons and provide an example. List comprehensions provide a conscious way to create lists. It consists of brackets containing an expression followed by a for clause. Then zero or more for or if clauses. Like that. Squares equal to x power 2 for x in range 10, so it will the squares like 2 4 6 8, like that it will print. Next, what is Python generator? Generators are functions that return an iterable set of items one at a time in a special way. They use the yield keyword instead of return. That is, this is the example. Def generator function, this is the function name, and L1 L2 L3. Explain the differences between init constructor and new constructor method. These two are the magic methods actually, so we should know the why we are using these all. So the new constructor responsible for creating a new instance of a class, it is called before init method, like init constructor. Init constructor, why we are using init constructor means, so the main difference is initialize the creating instance. How does exception handling works in Python? Exception handling in Python is done using try, except, else, and finally block. Try code that may raise an exception. Except some exception as e. This is the alias to create code to handle the exception. Else code to run if you know exception occurs. We should give the condition here. And the finally code to run no matter what it is. Look, the finally what should the will come. Next, what are the lambda functions? Lambda functions are small anonymous functions defined with the lambda keyword. They can have any number of arguments but only one expression. This below is the example. Add equal to lambda a comma b colon a plus b. This is the example to write the lambda function. How can you improve the performance of Python code? So we should know the how to improve the code also. Use built-in functions and libraries. Use list comprehensions and generated expressions. Avoid using global variables. Use the join method for concatenating strings. Profile your code using tools like C profiles. And what is the difference between deep copy and shallow copy? Shallow copy creates a new object but inserts references into it to the objects found in the original. Deep copy creates a new object and recursively copies all objects found in the original. What are meta classes in Python? Meta classes are classes of classes that define how a class behaves. A class is an instance of a meta class. They can be used to modify class creation, for instance, by adding methods or attributes to classes. When would you use a tuple instead of list? Tuples are preferred over list when storing a fixed collection of items that should not be changed, such as coordinates or database records. Can tuples be used as dictionary keys in Python? Yes. Tuples can be used as a dictionary keys in Python as long as they contain only hashable elements. What is inheritance in Python? Inheritance is a mechanism that allows a class to inherit attributes and methods from another class. It promotes code reuse and allows for the creation of hierarchies of its classes. Explain polymorphism in Python. Polymorphism is the ability of objects of different classes to be treated as objects of a common superclass. It allows for the same method to behave differently based on the object that calls it. What is method overriding in Python? Overriding is a feature of inheritance that allows a subclass to provide a specific implementation of a method that is already defined in its superclass. It is achieved by redefining the method in the subclass. What is overloading in Python? Method overloading is the ability to define multiple methods with the same name but different parameters in a class. Python does not support method overloading directly, but it can be achieved using default parameter values and variable length arguments lists. What is Pipette? Pipette is the style guide for writing Python code. It it provides conventions for writing clean, readable, and consistent code, covering topics like naming conventions, indentations, and best practices. What is GIL in Python? GIL, Global Interpreter Lock, is a mutex that protects access to Python objects, preventing multiple native threads from executing Python bytecodes at once. This means only one thread can execute Python code at a time. The next question is, what are Python decorators? Decorators are a way to modify or enhance functions or methods without changing their definition. They are typically used to add functionality to an existing code in a reusable way. The next question is explain the concept of monkey patching in Python. Monkey patching refers to the dynamic modifications of a class or module at runtime. It is often used for changing or extending the behavior of libraries or classes without altering the original source code. What is self in Python? Self is an instance or an object of a class. In Python, this is explicitly included as the first parameter. However, this is not the case in Java, where it's optional. It helps to differentiate between the methods and the attributes of a class with local variables. The self variable in the init method refers to the newly created object, while in other methods it refers to the objects whose method was called. What are Python iterators? Iterators are objects that can be traversed through or iterated upon. What is pickling and unpickling? The pickle module accepts any Python object, converts it into a string representation, and dumps it into a file by using the dump function. This process is called pickling. The process of retrieving original Python objects from the stored string representation is called unpickling. What are docstrings in Python? Docstrings are not comments, but they are documentation strings. These docstrings are within triple quotations. They are not assigned to any variable and therefore at times serve the purpose of comments as well. How is multi-threading achieved in Python? Python has a multi-threading package, but if you want to multi-thread to speed your code up, then it usually not a good idea to use it. Python has a construct called called the global interpreter lock. The guild makes the guilds make sure that only one of your threads can execute at any one time. A thread occurs the guild, does a little work, then passes the guild on to the next thread. This happens very quickly, so the human eye it may seems like you threads are executing in parallel, but they are just talking turns using the same CPU core. All the guild passing gets overhead to execution. This means that if you want to make your code run faster than using the threading package, often it's not a good idea. What is difference between set and forge and set? Set and forge and set are two built-in collection data types in Python that are used to store a collection of unique elements, while set is mutable, meaning that we can add, remove, or change elements. In set, forge and set is immutable and cannot be modified after creation. What are magic methods in Python? Magic methods, also known as dunder, double underscore methods, or special method that begin and end with double underscore. Begin and end with double underscore. They are used to define the behavior of object to built-in operations such as arithmetic comparison and attribute access. Let's see what are those magic methods. The first is the init. This is one of the magic method. Is a constructor in Python. It is called when an instance of a class is created and it allows the class to initialize the attribute of the object. The next string method is used to define the string representation of a object when the string function is used or when the object is printed. And the next is what is the difference between string and reaper. This is the repetition actually. So the string method is used for creating a readable string representation of a object primarily intended for a end user. The method is used to create an unambiguous string representation of an object primarily intended for developers. The output reper should ideally be a valid Python expression that can be used to recreate the object. And the next is the arithmetic, the magic method add. Add method is used to define the behavior of addition operator for instance of a class. And length method is used to define the behavior of len method, the function for an object. Get item method is used to define the behavior of element accessing the square brackets. And the next is the equal. This is the double equal, like we can use in the statements. Method is used to define the behavior of the equality operator for instance of a class. And the call method is used to make an instance of a class callable like a regular function. Iter method is used to return an iterator object, allowing an instance of a class to be iteratable, that is it can be used in a for loop. And enter and exit methods are used to define the behavior of objects when used in a with statements. Context management, the next method returns the next item from an iterator. It is called by the next function. Contains method is used to implement membership testing with the in operation operator. Add method add magic method implements addition using the plus operator. And the sub method implements subtraction using minus operator, like that equal operator and the less than equal to operator and the greater than equal to operator, XOR, these are the bitwise operators. And the XOR operator and method and power method and model method, floor division method, these are all the magic methods in we are using in Python. And next question is explain the purpose of asynco module in Python. Asynco module in Python provides support for writing asynchronous code using async or await syntax. It allows concurrent execution of IO bound tasks without the need for threads or callbacks. Async, Asynco is commonly used for building highly concurrent network servers and clients. Explain how Python's garbage collector works. Python, as I said previously in depth, actually this question is collection question actually. So we can say in the simple way, we can explain the in the simple way. Python garbage collection system automatically reclaims memory occupied by objects that are no longer referenced, thus preventing memory leaks. It uses reference counting to track the number of references to an object and cyclic garbage collection to detect and collect cycles of objects that are mutually referencing each other. And the fifth question is explain the purpose of the collection module in Python. The collection module in Python provides specialized container data types behind the built-in data structures like list, tuples, and dictionaries. It includes classes like named tuple, dequeue, counter, default dict, and ordered dict, which offer additional functionality and performance improvement for specific uses.
Thanks for watching. Please like and comment and share, and please subscribe for more videos. Thank you.